just because you feel certain things inside doesn't mean that other people can notice. So look, I'm making this video because I meet many people who tell me that whenever they get into a stressful situation and they start feeling all of those negative emotions, right? They have this fear of failure, the fear of embarrassment, the fear of rejection, and also, they have those symptoms of anxiety where, your heart starts beating faster, you may be sweating profusely, maybe you have thousands of thoughts in your mind, and you feel really, really stressed out. Many people feel that everyone can see that. But you see, the reality is that just because you feel something inside doesn't mean that other people can notice it. So let me show you a quick story, right? Back in the day, I was given a presentation in front of 50, 70 people back at the university. Those times I still wasn't a confident presenter, but of course I did my best. And I remember that at one point, I gave that one presentation. I was really stressed out, okay? My thoughts were going like crazy. My brain was bombarded with all of those different images of how I'm gonna fail, and my heart was racing. And I was sweating like a pig, and I thought that everybody could see that. So at one point during my presentation, I actually said to people, you know what, I'm sorry, I'm very stressed now. I normally don't do it. And then I continued, but people were a little bit shocked. And after the presentation, I asked my friends, hey guys, was I really stressed? Could you see that? Could you see that I was freaking out on the stage? And everyone, without exception, told me, what are you talking about? You did very well. And I'm like, guys, please, you're my friends, but just be honest with me. You could see that, right? You could see that I was literally dying inside. No, what are you talking about? You were really good. You were actually very confident. And I remember that that situation had a huge impact on my life, because I realized that just because you feel certain emotions inside doesn't mean that people can see the same thing. Now, if you've ever presented in front of the camera, you probably know what I'm talking about, right? I work with people who present in front of cameras. I coach people on how to do it. And very often they are so stressed that they can barely write something down on a piece of paper because the hand is shaking too much, right? But when they start presenting, and then later on when they watch the video, they expect the worst, right? They expect that they will be terrible on the camera. But usually they are very surprised to see that they can't really notice that they were so stressed out when they are looking at the screen later on after the presentation. So it's a really interesting principle, and you should remember about it in order to feel better about yourself, to feel more comfortable whenever you get into this type of situation. And by the way, this doesn't apply just to public speaking. It applies to many different situations, from business meetings to dating, right? Many, many different situations. As long as you remember that just because you feel really anxious inside doesn't mean that people can see it, that awareness will give you a lot of power. Because instead of overthinking, instead of slapping yourself mentally, in the face and thinking, you know what, everyone can see it, oh my God, I'm gonna fail, they're gonna reject me. Instead of having that negative internal dialogue, you will basically understand that, you know what, let's just take a deep breath and keep going, because nobody has any idea how I feel inside. And that's gonna give you so much power, okay? So don't take my word for it. Next time when you are in a situation like this, consciously remind yourself that no one can notice. And you know what? When you say it to yourself, when you actually start believing that nobody can notice that you are stressed, then this will become your reality.